Alright, hello there everyone, this is Kingdom, and today I'm bringing you a game from Eflux Gaming's Dota 2 Arena League. This is two of the teams from that league playing in the first day of games. This is the Nameless Juans, or that's correct, Juans, against the team, the Nosebleed section. And this is one of the first games, so I've got with me today a really cool co-caster. His name is PN, he's from Turn of Fate, as well as my team in the Eflux League. So welcome aboard. How are we doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me. Very excited to be able to cast a game with you, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We'll see how it goes. Put you to the test here really quickly. All right. So what do you think of the lineups so far? Quickly before we unpause.
All right. Well, it seems pretty standard at this point. You have an Undying and a Rubik and a Jakir up top. It seems like they're going to try to go for an aggressive tri-lane. And then you have the Nameless Juans going for that defensive lineup with the Coddle and the Dazzle, really anticipating that offensive tri-lane coming from the Undying, and they just really want to be able to survive that early game and not give up any kills, which really that Undying tri-lane will try to accomplish. So I think both teams are pairing up fairly well at this point, and we'll have to just see what kind of picks they have left.
Yeah, both teams need a carry. So you ready to unpause? We're gonna go 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, see what these next picks bring us. I do like the Dazzle. See, I heard you say I heard you say Dazzle instead of Darkseer earlier, and it's almost as if you were a prophet, because now we actually have a Dazzle here. Unless you're actually talking about that and you were a little bit ahead of me. Either way.
I might have been a little bit ahead of you.
It's alright, we have the Dazzle. Dazzle, of course, I was kind of surprised to see. I do like him a lot. He gives you a lot of minus armor and a ton of burst heal, as well as some burst physical DPS in the game. And Shallow Grave is always awesome when you have an enemy team trying to dive you. So, I definitely like the pickup. And he combos pretty well with some heroes. He combos pretty well with Slaughter or any other armor-reducing hero. So, definitely a good pickup in my opinion. I like him a lot. It does raise the question, though, which of these heroes will be in the solo mid slot. Any guesses?
Um, at this point, I would say they will most likely pick a carry for that solo mid spot. I mean, you could definitely put Leshrac there, although I would prefer having him against an Undying. I mean, his stun could be very useful for that defensive laning.
Yeah, the only issue I have with that is that Leshrac's stun kind of has... It needs a setup. It's kind of like Lena's stun in that it's hard to get off without a slow or something before that. And Keeper of the Light and Dazzle, while they're very good defensively, they don't really have a good setup stun for that Split Earth.
You have a fairly valid point there. It just seems like at this point, it seems like they've been occupied with just countering that Undying, that they did sacrifice a bit of their laning components from other parts.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, although they have a Dazzle, and of course the Shallow Grave being a very good skill, they still are fairly weak and squishy at this point. So depending on the carry, I would have said a DK or a CK, something tanky like that would have been a perfect fit. However, those have already been banned. So it'll be interesting to see what they pick for their last pick.
Yeah, the only one I can think of is an Alchemist as far as tanky carries go. I mean, I'm assuming that a Huskar isn't going to get picked up. I mean, this is just, theory crafting here. And of course, he can do pretty well against the Undying, farming up those zombies with Acid Spray, I think. Gets you a lot of gold with Goblin's Greed pretty freaking quickly.
Definitely.
I'm pretty sure that works. We'll have to see as we watch.
It'll be interesting if there is an Huskar pick, though. I mean, in pub games, you'll see a lot of Huskar Dazzle combos, and sometimes it works, but I'm not quite sure how well it'll fare out in this game.
In theory, it can work because it keeps Huskar right at 1 HP, which is where he's got his maximum DPS.
Exactly.
But, I mean, at the same time, all you'd then have to do is pick an Axe or an Ancient Apparition, and you're kind of screwed. Ancient Apparition Ice Blast does go through Grave. Oh, what do you know? It is the Alchemist. So, look for some farming on that one. A lot of fun to farm, right? Stack the easy camp. We'll have to see what the return pick is here from the Nosebleed section, TNS. See how they want to counter this. They're going to have to go... I think Aggression is their best option because Alchemist will pretty much outcarry anything they can pick, including an anti-mage, in my opinion.
10 seconds.
So, ooh, Necrolite.
Necrolite. Interesting pick.
That's very interesting. That is a good early game. It gives them the ability to go pretty aggressive early game with some burst heal as well as some big damage against a tanky alchemist once he loses a lot of his HP.
Exactly.
I do worry a little bit about, I guess that they're okay in terms of lockdown. Rubik Toss, Jakiro, Ice, and then Ravage, but it's not something
I do feel like they do lack some burst damage and of course some mid to early game damage. And Necrolite, although it's a very good counter to Alchemist, does require a lot of farms and items in order to be able to carry at that point. So they're gonna try to. Well, it's quite hard because with the Undying, you know they're gonna have an aggressive tri-lane. However, with the Necrolite, they do have to put a lot of farm into him. So it's gonna be kind of like an aggressive passive game for them.
Yeah, I think he can handle the pseudo-aggressive role pretty well. Like, he needs to farm, but I think he might even be going solo mid. What he's going to do is he's going to be able to get a couple, like, I would say if he gets an early mechanism up, he'll be able to just move around with the rest of the team, providing heal and game farm just by pushing towers and getting the creep kills as they move forward. I'm going to go ahead and introduce the Dire, and then you can introduce the Radiant players. We've got Clip, also known as Friendsbicky, on the Necrolite. We've got a stand-in, the Nameless one, on this Undying, which is kind of a little ironic. Dark Suo is going to be playing this Tidehunter. Tuna Boy on the Rubik, and Ad Crusher on the Jakiro.
Right, and on the Nameless Juan side, we have Jack on the Dazzle, Pelican on the Azalor, FOZ on the Leshrat, Racist Brett on the Darkseer, and Skia on the Alchemist.
I am actually... So Dazzle is solo mid. So we're seeing a Dazzle against a Necrolite solo mid.
This will be an interesting. I haven't seen many Dazzles go solo mids, especially in competitive games, so this will be really interesting to watch.
I really want to see how he decides to do this. I mean, so what do you skill? Do you skill Poison Touch? I mean, you don't really need the heal quite as much.
I'm guessing he will go Shadow Wave just for that last hitting capability.
It's weird. I can't really like fit my head completely around it. We're gonna see Tri-Lane versus Tri-Lane though, and that's probably where most of the action's gonna be on the bottom lane. And the Radiant have moved into the jungle, and looks like they're gonna be able to protect their pull, which is probably the most important thing. But the Dire are in position, and the Dire do have a lot more stuns on their Tri-Lane, so I don't know. Does Alchemist typically take his stun early on in the game?
I guess it really depends on the laning phase. I mean, it seems like Skia is just more concentrating on getting his farms on and getting his items up. So Greevil's Greed is probably the skill that he'll be maxing out first. I mean, I just don't think that they're going to take on the offensive to go against an Undying tri-lane. So their best interest is just for that Alchemist to farm as much as they can and just play as defensively as possible and just keep him up alive.
Yeah, because you're going to be getting all of that extra gold from the Greevil's Greed, the inaptly renamed skill that I totally liked the name before, but, you know, it's just me. And I don't think Valve listens to me when they make decisions, so... It does give actually a lot of bonus gold. You've got a base of 4 every time and an extra 1, and I think it gets capped at 30, although he's probably not going to get up to 30 until he maxes it out a little bit more. We do see the Leshrac will be able to pull and stack on this safe lane, so he should be able to get some decent farming levels going into the mid-game here for his team. And unless I think the Dire, it's really kind of on them right now to be able to catch somebody out of position and get a kill off in order to really get this tri-lane to work for them. In the mid lane, I guess it's just going to be farming. I mean, it doesn't seem like either of these two are going to go aggressive and try to get a kill.
No, I really don't think it's possible for them to get a kill in mid lane unless there's someone else ganking for them.
Yeah, neither. I mean, I guess level 3 Poison Touch is a pretty significant lockdown skill. He's got 1 point into it now at level 3, so, I mean... Anyway,
it just won't be enough to kill off a Necrolite, who's just going to be able to instantly heal with the Death Pulse. And there's a First Blood.
I think you were probably a little bit ahead of me because I don't see first blood happening yet. So yeah, I do see an engagement though on the bottom lane where Coddle is getting very low, getting chased. He's got some burn damage on him. It might be enough. Yeah, it will be enough to bring him down. And now it looks like Alchemist may be the second to fall, or possibly Leshrac. Both of them. Oh no, one more stun under the tower, but it's not going to be enough. Shakira's going to have to back off. So what time are you at? I'm at 14, 12, 14, 14, 15, 16, 17. At any rate, we're going to see Coddle teleport back in. It's not the worst blood, you know, it's not the worst kill. If Alchemist had gone down, it would have been a lot worse. But he will be able to stay in the lane, and now that he's got a point of acid spray, it is going to be very difficult for them to dive him underneath the tower, because it just does so much damage. The armor reduction is pretty significant. At 3 from level 1 is more than most skills you can get at level 1.
Exactly, but one of the bad things though is with the acid spray, it's just completely going to push the creep waves back towards the Dire Tower, and that's not something they want to do against an Undying lane.
Because that'll give them plenty of room to chase and get kills and continue to stay aggressive.
Exactly, and we don't have any wards coming from that tri-lane, so the Dyers have 2 wards placed, but the Radiant does not have any wards, so it's really bad for them to have to be this close to the Dyer's tower.
Yeah, it's definitely not optimal. We will see though. It does look like, in terms of the Radiant side, the Darkseer looks like he's having a better time than the Tidehunter. Looking at last hits really quickly, we do see they're about even right now, really. The only person who's doing substantially better than anyone else is the Necrolite, who's about 3 last hits above the Dazzle. But Dazzle, though, is sitting at 10 denies, so I mean, that's pretty good. About as good as it gets on your mid lane there. We're going to continue to see more action on the tri-lane here. It's not really outright engagement at the moment. Probably waiting for someone to be a little bit further out of position before they jump. We will see Leshrac turning on an Edict and going on the aggressive. We've got an Alchemist stun charging.
Oh, big miss by the Leshrac.
He's going to whiff everyone. Then there's going to be a follow-up Ice Path hitting everyone. Leshrac is very low. He will fall to a decay. And the Coddle also dies. So double kill for the Coddle. And now Alchemist has to run away for dear life. We've got... This is coming from a Rubik with double damage, who rotated to pick up that room bottom. No vision, of course, means that, oh, he's going to try to go around the back to get that kill. Unfortunately, it's not going to work out for him.
Very low. He just got caught by the ice wall.
Yeah, he's definitely sitting at a point where he could go down pretty quickly. Instead, he's going to charge a stun and shoot it, but that means he's probably going to, yep, goes down. Killing spree on the Undying, and now it looks like Leshrac will follow as well. Yep, there it is. Double kill 4-0 on this Undying already, and this Radiant tri-lane is looking like it's going very quickly towards an early grave. Really unfortunate that's not working out for them. They're going to have to adjust probably in the near future. Dazzle rotating. I'm not sure that that's going to cut it though, because Dazzle doesn't really offer anything as a roaming ganker. You know what I mean? He's sitting on phase boots. I'm not really sure where he plans to go with that. I mean, I've seen my brother troll pubs with a DPS Dazzle build, like building an Assault Cuirass, but I really don't know if that is the best thing for this current... I don't know if it's going to work out. I don't know. As long as the Darkseer continues to do pretty well, he is outlaning the Tide to a pretty significant degree. Got a Soul Ring up, and he might be able to push this top tower fairly quickly and then come join the tri-lane bottom. I don't know. What do you think about this game at this point? Is Alchemist going to be able to catch up? Is my audio working?
I'm sorry. I'm getting a little bit of static with the thing, so I was trying to fix the Skype.
All right. Can you hear me now, though? All right, we're good, and we're just go ahead and continue. All right, so I mean, this is really, it comes down to whether or not Alchemist can get some last hits going and get a good groove in. He's a hero who can definitely handle being behind at the beginning because his capacity to farm in the mid game just explodes. As soon as he gets something like, say, a Battle Fury and a stacked easy camp, he can easily get 1,000 gold in 10 seconds or so. And just completely go... Oh, wow. Solo kill on the mid lane. Dazzle graved up, manages to get a kill on the Necrolate. I can't say I was expecting that, but it is definitely could change the game because Necrolite is probably one of the things that the Dire are relying on when they come to a mid-game push, because of Alchemist on the Radiant side, the Dire are not going to be able to count on having a strong late game. We continue to see Darkseer also doing pretty well in the top lane. He's gone for the, I guess, the classic double Stout Shield build. I haven't seen that in a while. Stout Shield stacks not in the normal way that you would think of it. So his first Stout Shield in the inventory gets a 60% chance to block. So okay, he bought it by accident, sold the second one. That's what I thought. I didn't really expect that. But anyway, if the second Stout Shield only has a chance to block the things which don't get blocked by the first Stout Shield, so it's diminishing return kind of stacking. You see a big engagement on the bottom lane. Dazzle has rotated bottom and has brought everybody low, but no kills have happened. In fact, Alchemist falls, and now it's gonna look like Undying. Yeah, he will be able to pick off Dazzle with one last decay, and now Necrolite is rotating towards the bottom lane as well. Jakiro's going to pick off the Leshrac, and that means 3 kills have gone down, and the only one left alive is a Coddle, who's sitting back here without any points into Blast. Now, this is something that I'm really not sure about, and I don't understand. I mean, Mana Leak is a pretty good spell. It slows people down, and it can serve as a stun, but it's definitely not worth maxing over the Illuminate. I don't know. I don't think that's going to turn out very well at all. Alright, so Skype functioning for you a little bit better now?
Yes.
Alright, so
Sorry about that.
in your absence, I noticed that Coddle actually hasn't taken any points into Blast right now. I don't know if you saw that. He's sitting at 2 points into Mana Leak and 2 points into Chakra.
Okay.
I don't understand that at all.
I'm guessing his idea is not to try to push the lane and help out as much as he can in other ways.
At the moment, you've got 4 enemy heroes pushing into your tower. You've got your whole tri-lane, including your solo mid, came and died. So total score right now is 1-9. And that Coddle needs to anti-push now, and he doesn't have any points into his nuke to do so, which is, in my opinion, one of the major reasons why you pick Coddle in the first place, is his ability to counter-push, right? I mean, on the bright side, Darkseer does get a solo kill against the Tidehunter, but now your whole tri-lane has died again. I mean, there's just so much heal on this Dire squad. Coming from the Undying Soul Rip, which he has almost maxed. He actually doesn't have a point into Tombstone at this point. Kind of surprised by that as well. Really a lot of unconventional play here. Oh, there's a Dazzle ultimate keeping in a Shallow Grave, keeping the Alchemist alive for now. And we will see, he will, however, fall eventually to the Ice Path. Dazzle is now here. He's going to go ahead and put a Poison Touchdown on the Undying, but he's out of mana. He needs to back off. And Darkseer is also rotated towards the bottom lane. He's going to have to make something happen in order to pull this around, but right now he's getting gushed. He's getting brought down. A lot of burst damage. Here's a Ravage. Going to just hit the Dazzle. He's going to get some mana and then back off. Fall to a decay eventually. Spurth will hit on 2. And if this is where, if there was a Coddle Blast, you could see a kill here.
It could have definitely turned the fight around.
I mean, right now they're just feeding kill after kill to the Dire team. So they're up by 10 kills now. And I want to see how that translates onto the gold grab. After it looks like the Tidehunter will eventually fall here. Alchemist is charging his Sun. We'll probably use it to hit Jakiro, but he's standing in lockdown in the Jakiro Macropyre, and of course that's a ton of damage. He falls to that. And now Darkseer got himself a double kill in the midst of that somehow. Not entirely sure how. Didn't take a point into wall, so whatever. I mean, that was just the most confusing team fight I've ever seen in my life. Don't know about you. At the end of the day, though, the Dire comes out pretty far ahead at 14-5 in terms of kills, and they take the bottom tower. So, I mean, I don't really know what more they could have asked for there.
Yeah, that Undying Tri-Lane just completely paid off, and as mentioned before, everything about the Undying Tri-Lane is getting the kills, and that's exactly what they accomplished. So it's going to be a really hard game for the Radiant to come back at this point, with losing the tower this early and just giving up 14 kills.
I mean, this is almost like worst case scenario at the moment, because if you think about it, Alchemist doesn't just farm lane creeps. He also needs to get. He's going to get hit. He's going to get stunned up, and he's going to get ulted by the Necrolite. Gets dropped immediately. He's now sitting at 0-5, 11 minutes into the game. That's about as bad as it can get on an Alchemist. And now also what Alchemist needs, though, is he needs the space in the jungle to farm, because Goblin's Greed gives you more gold the quicker you can get kills, and the quickest you can get kills is in the jungle, like in the easy camp.
Exactly, and that's a lot of the times you see supports pull the easy camps for a quick gold for the Alchemist, but at this point that jungle looks to be completely controlled by the Dire. So
yeah, the only thing that's Radiant really have going for them is that the Darkseer did do pretty well in the top lane. He's got most of them mech. He's about 500 gold short of that. Tier 2 bottom has fallen, and the Dire, if they're intelligent, will probably just go ahead and rotate straight to the mid lane and start pushing there, because at the moment there's absolutely nothing that the Radiant can do about it. Just absolutely nothing. They may actually go into Roche pits. Do they have any minus armor? I don't think they do. No, they're going to rotate back. See, Necrolite's going to start pushing out. Jakiro with his Liquid Fire is actually maxed, so I kind of like that. In this aggressive,
they're going for that fast tower push.
And it also kills creep waves pretty quickly, and every 5 seconds it means you're providing a 50% attack slow, which is also a lot more than people kind of realize.
And with that, they can do an easy rush as well. So
yeah, it's a very, very effective tool for this early game strategy. I like it. I don't like it in. I wouldn't recommend it in every Jakiro game, but it's pretty good. Darkseer is running away from a Necrolite Blast. It may kill him when it catches up to him, but he's got a max surge, so he might get away. Yeah, I think he'll make it back to the base. That'd be
he should be able to make it back to the base. He has another surge coming up, so.
And we will see the mid-tier 1 tower fall, and now everyone's rotating towards the top lane, so Jack needs to get back. He's got 1,500 gold, though, so he is getting pretty close to whatever item it is that he, as a Dazzle, decides is good for him to farm. He's got a Bottle Phase Bracer. Looks like he's going for a Drum Den.
Yeah, you would usually expect a mech coming out of a Dazzle, but Darkseer already has that item in progress, so.
I mean, I kind of like Dazzle has a lot of minus armor in all of his, and Shadow Weave does a lot of physical damage. So getting attack damage items on Dazzle is not really that bad of an idea. I mean, I want to go ahead and take a look quickly at gold per minute, see where everyone's doing. At the moment, Alchemist is sitting at the bottom at 188. On mid lane, looks like there's an invisible Jakiro, but there's no detection.
He's stalking them.
He should be fine. I saw him there, and I was like, whoa, is there a kill going down? And I went to look, and I was like, nope. Just going to ice path it.
He's just going to be stalling that mid-tower push while his team finishes up the top tower.
He might pay for it with his life, though, because of that Dazzle stun followed up by the Leshrac stun and the Vacuum. That is going to allow the Radiant to get a quick kill on him and possibly take out this mid-tier 1 tower. But in the meantime, it looks like Dire is barreling toward your tier 2 top, and they're not going to slow down.
No, and I think Jakiro really did his job, and that was just to stall that couple seconds, just to give enough time for his team to complete that push for the tier 2.
Yeah, and so we will.
And it does look like they'll successfully be able to take it. So
Glyph has been used already, and I mean, there's really nothing the Radiant can do. Their Alchemist is everything for the Radiant is riding on this Alchemist. If he can get a ton of farm up and get really fat in the period of time he has before all the external towers and maybe a lane of racks are down, then he can possibly win the game. But it's gonna be tough. We see him get caught out here by an Ice Path. Jakiro might even be able to solo kill him at this point, but no, he used his Ice Path first, and Alchemist is free to just TP out. I mean, you can just see the map, in terms of map control, the Dire have such a massive lead right now. You can see that the creep waves are pushed out to this absurdly far point 15 minutes into the game. Almost every single lane is past the river, and that gives the Radiant no room to farm. And Alchemist without room to farm is a big melee creep with a stun. Down here in the bottom jungle, we are going to see Darkseer try to get a kill, but now he's going to get caught out by the rest of the Dire team. He will get ulted by the Necrolite, but that's not going to be enough. Jack is getting low as well. Dazzle, he's going to get hasted by the Darkseer, so he ought to be able to get away. Here comes the Alchemist Sun on top of the Tide, but they have to back off. They can't engage this. I mean, I don't know if the Radiant can win at this point. I'm really worried about this.
Yeah, and the Coddle Illuminate not having that leveled up at this point is really biting them at this, simply because they can't hold that anti-push with it. It's at level 1 right now, and it's only doing 200 damage at max channel, so...
We will see a kill against the Undying on the mid lane as he gets hit by a bunch of zones, or maybe, okay, he does end up going down to the Dazzle, but now the rest of the Dire team is here, and they want revenge. Here's the Ravage hitting absolutely everyone. All of the entire Radiant team is dropping low. Alchemist is trying to do what he can, but he just doesn't have the backup, doesn't have the lockdown. And while he is pretty tanky, I mean, tanky isn't going to get you ever. It looks like he may get a kill here on the Necrolite. Yes, the Necrolite will go down, and so that's another kill going the way of the Alchemist. But, I mean, I don't know, maybe it is going to go the way of the Radiant. We're going to see this Tidehunter get brought down as well. Rubik falls to a Coddle Blast, and now this Tidehunter is trapped in. Dominating streak on the Darkseer, who is currently 4-0-1 and probably the saving grace of the Radiant team at the moment. So, very good team fight there done by the Radiant, despite a Macropyre and a gigantic Ravage. Stun gets charged up. It's going to hit the Jakiro, but I don't think they're going to be able to go in on him as the rest of the Dire team are right there. Now, if only the Radiant had a little bit more map control and they could transition that team fight win into a push, right?
Yeah. Definitely, but Necrolite just bought back, and he's going to be able to hold that.
He doesn't have a Mac quite yet. He's pretty... Actually, he bought it right now, just as the gold. You've got already a Hood as well as a Vanguard and Arcane Boots up on your Undying. You have on... Let's see here. On the... Rubik some Arcane Boots, and you've got another mech attempt on Jakiro, so a little bit of miscommunication there. 2 mechs being built, but no big deal, right? Ought to work out at some point, I guess.
Simply because they have such an advantage at this point, I wouldn't say it's not the end of the world, but really 2 mechs should not be something that happens in a game, so...
For Staff, it might have been more useful, in my opinion, especially since Necrolite's already building the mech. I mean, Force Staff is very good as an offensive as well as a defensive item. It can put your Undying into decay range. It can put your... I mean, it could just it's just got so much possibility as an item. It can get... It's in like a poor man's Blink Dagger for your Tidehunter. I mean...
It's definitely one of the best items in the game, I would say.
And the cheapest as well. It's only like, what, 2,500 gold?
Yeah, 2,300 gold, somewhere around there.
So we're going to see the last Tier 2 tower is getting pushed out slowly by the Dire. Every time Jakiro comes forward, he just pops an Ice Path and a Liquid Fire shot, and even if the Tombstone gets bursted down, the tower will slowly fall, and there's nothing really the Radiant can do about it. Alchemist is doing his best to farm a different lane, but if he's not there, there's absolutely no DPS output from the Radiant team. I mean, really, especially since Coddle's only got 1 point into Blast, they just don't have the capacity to deal damage quickly enough to do anything. See Alchemist go ahead and get hasted by the Darkseer. He's going to get caught by an Ice Wall, though. Going to get mech'd up. Here's a big Ravage. Actually, not really that big, only hitting 3. Tidehunter's going to pick off the Alchemist, and now it looks like Coddle's the next one in trouble. He's going to get graved, though, be able to back off just fine. Vacuum backwards, saving people a little bit more time, and now Tidehunter might be in trouble. He's going to go ahead and get stunned by the the Dazzle, and
there's not going to be enough damage, though.
Yeah, not quite enough damage, but it will slow down the push a little bit, and it maybe give the Radiant a chance to let their Alchemist respawn before the Tier 3 tower. Oh, never mind. This is going to be a massive macro-fire on top of absolutely everyone. Followed up. It was beautifully executed there. Decay on top of 3 as well. This Undying at this point just so tanky, sitting at almost 60 strength, 20 minutes into the game, with a pipe already basically finished. So, I mean, it's really looking grim for the Radiant at the moment.
Yeah, and at this point, I mean, Coddle's Blast has been hitting at least 4 or 5 targets every single time. It's just that it's not dealing any damage at this point, so there's no effect on pushing them back and keeping them harassed.
Yeah, especially since, I mean, this Necrolite is really actually working out as a pick. He's got this Death Pulse coming off cooldown every 5 seconds and healing everyone up, keeping everyone at max health, even after Coddle blasts. So, definitely a good item. And it looks like these guys are going to go ahead and come forward. Dual Breath down on top of the Coddle. He's going to get pretty low, backing off, using a mechanism from the Darkseer. We see Alchemist coming in. He's channeling a stun. He wants to go in. He's going to go ahead and stun up the Undying. It looks like Undying will fall, but Leshrac may pay the price for it. He will go down. Big Macropyre again. Such a low cooldown. Vacuum back, stolen by the Rubik, of course, and that's a really good spell to steal. Alchemist coming forward with the Ion Shell on top of him, but he can't go in because the other team just has too high of a level advantage. He's going to get stunned up by an Ice Path. Try to get a stun off here. Get picked up. Can he get the stun off? Yes, he can. It will stun the Rubik. Not doing that much damage because it's only level 1. I mean, they managed to push back the Rubik and kill the Undying, and that's it. However, they did defend the racks. Racks are not down, so I think that's the important point here to keep in mind. And Alchemist goes back to farming. He's 700 gold away from BKB? 500, maybe? So I think with that...
I think that really shows the pace of the game. I mean, you rarely see Alchemists go with BKB first. And right now for that Alchemist, survival is just absolutely everything. So
yeah, he's gonna get his GPM is improving. He went from second to last, now he's up to 6th in terms of GPM. Still behind almost the entire Dire team though, including being behind the Jakiro in terms of gold per minute. It's looking like it will end pretty quickly here. That will change pretty quickly. Do see in terms of last hitting that the Dazzle is actually on top of the game at 79 last hits. Dazzle will is he seriously build? Why does he have the armlet items in his inventory?
Maybe he feels like the game is already out of reach and it's a bit of a troll mode at this point.
I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to understand how that would be good in application. Maybe I'm wrong and he's actually going Maelstrom crits and just decided to build the items up this way. I mean, I'm trying to come up with plausible explanations as for why you would have a Blade of Attack and a Glove of Haste in your inventory as a Dazzle.
I believe Armlet is the item that he's going for, and I mean, with the Armlet and Dazzle spells, he could probably kite around a lot of heroes, but I don't really think that's going to be helping the team out in the long run.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure what to say. Alchemist will get out here, TBing out just in time as the Ice Path comes in. Tidehunter didn't want to drop the Ravage just for the Alchemist, although it might have been worth it. Alchemist just, instead of TBing back to base, goes up to the top lane and continues farming. He's getting a lot of extra gold from the Goblin's Greed, so he is actually starting to get moderately farmed. Right now he's got a phase BKB, and so with his ultimate bonus, he will be able to do at least a fair amount of damage.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
It's looking like the base might get pushed here, and there's nothing they can really do about it. Coddle is going to get stunned up, but he's got a Grave, so he tanks the Necrolite ultimate with that Grave on, and he will survive, and will now, but the Racks are still getting beat down. Here comes an Alchemist with a stun, but he's going to get stunned up himself. Can he get out in time to launch the stun? Yes, he does, and that's actually going to do a lot of damage, but there's Ravage on top of everyone, knocking the Leshrac very low. BKB is going to hold Alchemist alive a little bit. Going to give him a chance to do some beating down, but he's low already. Not as tanky as he would like to be. He's going to fall to a Rubik stun. Vacuum on top of 4, but Darkseer gets picked up right afterwards. Doesn't have a point of wall, only level 12. And Vacuum is stolen too, so, I mean, teamfight does not look like it's going the way of the Radiant. And there goes a melee Rax. I mean, like, I'm just watching, sitting here watching, and tons of damage is getting dropped down. And, I mean, all of the Radiant spells are getting used pretty appropriately. Like, we're hitting 2-man Split Earths, 3 or 4-man Illuminates, but they're just so far behind in terms of levels, and, I mean, I don't really know what to say at this point.
And Darkseer's chasing down the Undying. He might be able to get the kill.
It's possible. If you see with the Surge and the Ion Shell, it is a lot of damage. Leshrac actually kills Rubik in the mid jungle area. I missed that one because I was watching Undying slowly die. Kind of a funny thing to say, but you know. Looks like Leshrac will pay for his kill with his life. Jakira's chasing him, but no, actually here comes Alchemist with a stun. Gonna hit him, and I think actually there is one way that we didn't talk about that the Radiant could actually come ahead here, and that involves some serious throwing on the Dire part. It's about the only option that I can think of here, because, I mean, the fact still remains that the Dire don't have a hard carry. Outside of the Necrolite, who I can't really say is a hard carry on the level that Alchemist is, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if he had gone maybe a Radiance instead of a mech, since Jakiro was already building a mech, he could have turned into more of a hard carry. But right now it seems like he's just going to be content with the Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, I mean, Aghanim Scepter does a pretty good job on his ultimate, right? It increases the damage as well as lowering the cooldown and decreasing the mana cost, so not a bad item by any means. And I'm just kind of watching Alchemist farm here. He's getting some last hits. He's getting back up. He's up to 74 now. I mean, 74 is abysmal farm for an Alchemist at 26 minutes, but it's also better than most of the other people in the game, and because he's Alchemist, those last hits do mean a lot more on him than they mean on anyone else.
Definitely, and speaking of last hits, Dazzle just completely stealing the show.
Yeah, he's definitely doing well. He does have an armlet, as well as what looks to be a BKB next, so we are having a carry Dazzle here. If this works, I'm calling miracle. I mean, there's nothing else to say about it. I mean, gonna see Undying come forward. Push is going into the Dire. Push is going into the Radiant top barracks. We see Ice Paths getting thrown down. Undying spells. Tombstone has yet to be dropped. Here comes a BKB. Vacuum into wall. This could be the start of a turnaround, but here's a Ravage on top of most of the Radiant team. Jakiro is going to kill off the Leshrac pretty quickly, but Alchemist is in the middle with a pretty big BKB, being able to survive most of the spells. Two of the Dire heroes go down already, so deaths are going, so it's kind of going the way of the Radiant, although Rubik stole Poison Touch and has been able to slow this Alchemist down. Alchemist taking some damage, charging a stun. If he can stay alive long enough, he might be able to kill people. Here comes the Coddle Blast, doing some damage, and now it looks like the Undying will fall as well. So this is actually approaching a team wipe in favor of the Radiant, and if it is, I don't know what to say about it. There it goes.
One of the big issues for the Dire was that they were just, all 5 of them were just clumped up in that acid spray for a good period of time, and they were taking massive amount of damage with, on top of the Alchemist right clicks.
Yeah, I mean, they hit a Ravage on just about everyone, Macropyre on just about everyone, but they only managed to kill one. So did they like miss their window, or what happened there? Because I didn't see any major misplays.
Dire's bottom
I
tower
believe they're
is under
just,
attack.
at this point, being a little hasty on pushing the lay-ins. I mean, what I would do is just sit back and maximize the farm. Most likely take the Roshan, get an Aegis, and then push with it.
Yeah, I mean, they still have the majority of the map control, and it does look like they'll be rotating in towards the Roche pit. They've got the Tidehunter headed that way, as well as the Necrolite and the Rubik, or what do they plan on doing? They might go into the jungle, try and gank this Lestrak. I'm going to go ahead and look at the XP graph for you guys, just so that you can see that there is a 5,000 experience lead in favor of the Dire, and it is now a 7,500 experience lead in favor of the Radiant because of those past couple team fights. And then the gold is still 4,000 in the Dire's favor, but you're looking at an Alchemist, and no one can farm like an Alchemist. Shadowblade. Alchemist is a Shadowblade. Alright.
Yeah, and as the game progresses, that gold graph is going to keep tilting towards the Radiant side just simply because of that Alchemist farming.
And actually, so can you charge your stun as Alchemist and then go invisible?
Yes, you can.
That's kind of cool. I like that. If that works out and they get a kill here and maybe defend this Aegis, I think the game can definitely start going their way. We've got Coddle in position, launching off some blasts, doing a little bit of preliminary damage, but at the same time you've got Necrolite there just healing everybody up, keeping everybody at full. I mean, Roche can be pretty big. It's going to be a big gold boost to the Dire team as well, but here comes... No, Radiant team not going in. Just going to back off again. I mean, oh, here comes an invisible Alchemist with a Ion Shell. Can he get the Aegis? No, he can't, but he can pop a BKB and start attacking people. But here's a massive Ravage hitting the entire Radio team. Macropyre on top of everybody, and followed by an Ice Path. This looks like it can be a disaster for the Radiant team. Mech is keeping people alive for now. Undying has gone down. I'm sorry, Leshrac has fallen to Undying, but Darkseer now gets a kill on the Necrolite. It looks like double kill for the Darkseer, kill for the Alchemist. Alchemist is looking low. Undying is going in for him, but Alchemist has an Invisiblade still, and he's also got a Grave on top of him, so he'll probably get away here. Looks like Jakiro will be the next one to fall, getting chased. Yeah, he's going to fall to the Dazzle. Dazzle is low, but looks like, yeah, there's another team wipe.
And there comes that armlet proc from Dazzle.
I guess the armlet's working. The armlet toggling Dazzle.
Invisibility.
I never thought I would see the day that this would come and that this would be effective. But here we are. That's how this is going. This game. Alchemist, of course, getting back to his farm. He's got 1,500 gold already. No items on the courier, so look for another tier 4 item in, I would want to say, like another 5-10 minutes on him. That's just the rate he can farm. Very quick. Beating down creep waves. I'd like to see an AC maybe. Just get an attack speed item. And then just go straight for a damage item. I don't know what you would like to see.
I guess it really depends on if he's more focused on still being able to survive team fights, going into the middle with the acid spray, just right-clicking the heroes, or if he really wants to go for that damage items now.
I think either way, he's going to be too big for the Dire to handle him pretty soon. Kills are almost even. It's now 25 to 26. You can see the gold has dropped to a 2,000 lead for the Dire, and experience is even further out of sync. 12,000 experience lead going the way of the Radiant. And, I mean, that's what happens in these games where if you're ahead, you really can't lose team fights because, alright, I'm going to go ahead and speed through this pause really quickly, and then I will stop at the end of the pause and let you know what time I'm at. Alright?
Okay.
And I mean, like, if you're ahead and you drop a couple kills, a couple of your teammates get killed, that means that those kills are worth more because you're ahead, and the higher level you are, the more experience and the more gold you give.
Exactly.
So while you're ahead, you have to constantly fight to maintain that lead, because the way Dota works is comebacks are pretty possible in Dota, as we're kind of seeing right now.
And especially with this kind of lineup, the Radiant, they can really make that comeback with the Alchemist.
They've got stack up on the Ancients right now that he'll be able to clear pretty quickly because Acid Spray does reduce armor through BKB, I'm pretty sure. Or through Magic Immunity. Having problems with Steam. Just going to go ahead and wait a while Pink reconnects. He has to, you know, technical issues.
Technical issues.
Bane of every Dota game. It seriously happens every single game. No, I'm dying disconnected. Oh, man.
Strategic timeout.
Yeah. So here I was thinking this was an hour-long game, and actually it's like a 15-minute long pause. There we go. We got 1 reconnect, 2 reconnects. We're good to go. And I am going to be paused at 49:55. So if you could speed up to there, we can go ahead and resync.
All right, I'm there.
All right, 3, 2, 1, unpause. And we can continue watching. So, yeah, like we were saying, this is a kind of lineup that can come back from a deficit. You really need those heroes who can sort of snowball if they get a couple levels and a level advantage, because right now, looking at levels, wrong button, that's not levels. Looking at levels, you can see that actually Alchemist and Dazzle are on top of the level game right now. They've actually come
as well
back.
Starkseer, yeah.
Yeah, they've actually come back to the point whereas before the entire Dire team was out leveling the Radiant team. Now 3 members of the Radiant team are out leveling the entire Dire team. Granted, your Radiant supports are a little bit low still, 11 on the Leshrac and 9 on the Coddle, but that will change when team fights continue because they aren't getting picked off.
And it looks like it's going to be an AC for the Alchemist.
Picked up that Hyperstone, and I mean, he just starts getting scary once you have a Hyperstone. Look how fast he's attacking there. We do see a Dire smoking up, coming down the mid lane here. They might be able to find themselves a kill here. If they get lucky, someone steps out of position, but at the moment it doesn't look like it. No, Alchemist is just going to come in the back. He's like, I don't care. Just going to throw a stun at you and see what you think about it. And I guess the push is continuing. I'm not entirely sure why Dire have decided to push mid. I feel like they should push a different lane and try to take some more, do some more damage maybe to the top tower.
I think it's a little bit of panic mode coming from the Dire at this point. I mean, early on they completely thought they had the game, and they started going into this little bit of a troll mode, and they had to pay that with a complete wipe. Was it 2 or 3 fights in a row?
Yeah, I think it was like, yeah.
Yeah. That just completely gave the Radiant side life back into this game, and right now they just don't know what to do anymore, and the longer this game prolongs, the advantage will be greater towards the Radiant side, so the Dire's opportunity window is really narrowing down at this point.
Yeah, definitely. They have to get a perfect team fight going for them. They got to get a perfect Ravage followed by a very perfect Macropyre, you know, maybe stealing a vacuum or stealing a wall, something like that. Stealing Acid Spray could also be pretty nice. Just something to make a team fight go their way and then win, get one more lane of Rax, and they might be able to make this work. Because still, even though Alchemist is getting pretty big, and I guess your Dazzle is getting pretty farmed, but I mean, he's got an Aghanim Scepter as well as an armlet and a drum now.
Yeah, the armor reduction from that is just absolutely huge, especially on top of the Acid Spray, and
yeah,
a couple of right clicks from Alchemist will just bring the whole entire Dire team down.
It's like minus 30 armor at this point, basically. That's more than starter, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, it is.
Essentially on the whole enemy team, and Alchemist is there with further armor reduction coming from his Acid Spray. That's like minus 6 armor, so holy crud. Those Alchemist right clicks, which actually don't hit that hard, are suddenly going to be hitting very, very hard.
And especially with the Hyperstone and his ult, he's going to be hitting extremely fast. So
it's insane. This is going to be, he's got a 1 second base attack time with level 3 ult. I mean, if that's not scary, I don't know what is. So the push is going to continue coming. Here's a pipe pop as well as an ice wall thrown down. Looks like Jakiro's trying to get some leverage here. Tide's going to walk up. He's probably thinking about ravaging, but there's your Dazzle ultimate hitting on top of everyone. Mana Drain has completely taken all of the mana off of the Undying, and now Tide's getting focused down. He does manage to get a Ravage off before he goes down, but Alchemist had
There's
a
a BKB. Yeah.
so he will survive that. Necrolite ultimate will be used, almost dropping the Leshrac, but there's 3 down already for the Dire. Rubik and Jakiro are trying to do work, but they really don't have the capacity right now, and there goes the Jakiro falling, and Rubik is the last one trying to make it out of alive, but that's not going to happen when you've got an Alchemist with a Haste Rune and an Ion Shell.
That's another team win for the Dire.
And there it goes. I mean, wow. I mean, before this we were calling a serious just an inability for the Radiant to win, and now here they are sitting. I just want to look at this. 15,000 experience in the lead, and now they have brought the gold graph back to 0. Finally, at last, Alchemist has breached 400 gold per minute, and that's only just going to keep going up as all of a sudden these towers that the Dire managed to keep up in the early game, those are just like candy right now.
Exactly, and the gold graph might just have leveled out, but experience is tilting towards the Radiant by more than 20,000 at this point.
It's just scary how big that is. Doesn't look like the Radiant are going to get a tower right now. They will have to back off as the rest of the Dire have respawned. But, I mean, it's not like they're waiting on cooldowns for big ultimates.
But this is the smart play. They don't really need to rush anything at this point anymore. They can play that farming game for Alchemist and just really engage whenever they are ready and whenever they feel comfortable.
Yeah, especially with double damage on the Alchemist just makes him that much more scary, man. I mean, seriously. Just watching him beat on these Ancients is very, very scary. Does Dazzle's ultimate go through BKB? I think it does, doesn't it?
Yes.
That's what I thought. I mean, it's typically the rule is like ultimates, non-damage effects go through BKB.
Dazzle!
Except for Tidehunter Ravage. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. At any rate, Dazzle's ultimate does go through BKB, which means that even on a team with like a Sven, it could do a lot of work. You know, kind of thing, and doing some theory crafting here. Undying is going to get caught out with the Dazzle ultimate as well as the Poison Touch. That is a very annoying spell to get away from. Split Earth is going to miss though, so he ought to be safe, but even Dazzle is able to right-click this Undying down. I'm looking at this, and it's just so much damage. With an armlet on the Dazzle, that's insane.
Here it is, carry Dazzle.
So I guess the next is crits, or I don't know, what's next?
A Deso?
That could definitely work. Undying doesn't want to build one. He's probably going to want, if he gets an armlet, he does actually have an AC now. There's a stun up onto the Jakiro, followed up by a haste on the Alchemist, and tons more damage. Monster kill streak on him now. Tower's definitely going to fall.
clicks.
Yeah, I know. There's just so much minus armor coming from this team right now.
Dire's middle tower.
Yeah, it looks like that mid-Rax will go down.
Middle tower is under attack.
I mean, I don't know what the Dire can do at this point. They've got a Ravage, but Alchemist is just going to pop up his BKB. Actually, it's on cooldown for 45 seconds, but so are the rest of their team. Without Undying, they really can't go in. Tide's going to get stunned up, and now he's going to get beat down very quickly by Alchemist. Alchemist actually getting dropped in. No, there's a vacuum on top of 3 as well as a wall. Here comes a Coddle Blast, knocking everyone down. Necrolite is keeping some HP up, and Alchemist is getting low. Maybe if Necro can get an ult off on him. No, Alchemist just regenerating too much health. Only Dazzle and Darkseer are going into the base, and they're winning by themselves without the Alchemist. Leshrac will end up falling. Now Undying's back. He drops a Tombstone, comes in, but there's a Grave on top of the Dazzle, keeping him alive. The wall is still up, so that means there will still be illusions. Alchemist is like, I've had enough of beating on towers. I'm going to come beat on your team. Gets another kill, Godlike, on him. Dazzle will go down, but Alchemist is still here. He's big, he's bad, he's angry, and he's purple. Beating down, one hit takes away a quarter of Rubik's HP for the kill there. Alchemist has the BKB in 2 seconds and will be able to turn around at that point and continue the beatdown. Here comes BKB. I'm waiting for BKB. It actually hasn't been popped yet. Never mind. Just going to go ahead and back off a little bit. Rax isn't fallen though, so I guess sort of a win for the Radiant there.
A successful defense, but at the cost of a lot of heroes' lives and
a godlike streak on your Alchemist, who's now 11-7 after being 0-7. I mean, I think that's the biggest story of the game right now is this Alchemist's comeback. He has a Mjolnir. All he needs to do is farm 600 gold, which is going to take him about 30 seconds. Like just because of all this extra gold. I mean, this is Alchemist for you. I mean, I really don't have anything else to say at this point.
Yeah, you give him time, you give him space, and he'll just come out as a monster, so...
I mean, they didn't really give him that much space. He was trapped inside the base defending. I mean, I'm really not sure exactly what caused this game to turn around like it did.
Invisibility.
It was really from the Dire side. I mean, they lost the games. If they do end up losing, they lost the games by themselves. A lot of overcommitments. And those completely failing just gave the opportunity for the Radiant to come right back into this game.
The gold graph is definitely now in favor of the Radiant by 8,000 gold. You can just look at the shape of this gold graph and see how big this comeback has been. There was a period of time around 2,000 gold where the gold graph leveled off, but that was quickly. And it looks like the Dire want to smoke gank. They might be able to find Dazzle in this jungle here. They know someone's here. The smoke has been popped. Will they be able to catch him out is the question. They get an ice path off. This might spell the end for Dazzle here. He's going to go ahead and pop a drum charge, try and get away. So it looks like they will not. This smoke gank has been in vain. So a lot of resources wasted there. And I really don't know what the next step is for them.
The Dire's trying everything, and it's just not working out.
Maybe they can go into the Roche pit, but I don't think they'll be able to take a fight there if the Radiant decide to come and defend.
Yeah, and there's a ward watching right on top of the hill, so if they do go into the Roshan, it'll be easily contested by the Radiant.
Yeah, especially with the Dazzle ultimate. I mean, Dazzle's ultimate is this really short cooldown. 40 seconds, so every time that you team fight, that thing's going to be up, and it's just going to be minus 30 armor for your whole team. Mjolnir is basically up on... No, I don't see the Mjolnir up. I guess... I don't know
he
what
still needs a Hyperstone.
Okay, I thought he already bought the Hyperstone. Whatever.
He used it for his Assault Cuirass.
Got it. Whatever. Gold. Whatever. He's got...
Yeah, but
he's basically farmed. Let's put it that way. Going for the double
nevertheless, he's going to get that Hyperstone quite fast.
And he's going for, I think that's the way Black played him. I think Black was one of the first players in recent history to introduce Alchemist into the metagame. I mean, it completely suits Black's playstyle, of course. Just forget you guys, I'm just going to go farm for 30 minutes. But he's going to be, this Alchemist, I mean, he's going to have, Jesus, look how quickly this is going. Bam. Every creep is almost worth 100 gold. I mean, I don't know.
He decided to buy something else instead of the Hyperstone and completing his Mjolnir.
Really? I don't know what else. Did he? He did. He bought a recipe for. He went for bots. Can you disassemble phase? No, just have to sell the phase. All right, it's all good. I think that we will be able to see. I mean, I think the Radiant do have the ability to take their time, but at the same time, I don't think they need to take as much time as they're taking. They can probably end the game fairly soon. And I do think, though, that the Dire do have, like, important items up, and if the Radiant were to let a team fight slip, I mean, you've got a Shiva's on your Tidehunter, you've got, I mean, the Iganim mech up on your Necrolite, as well as most of a Sheepstick up on your Jakiro. I mean, the Dire are not completely out of this game, and if a team fight were to go a wrong way, they could throw them pretty quickly. I mean, like I said, gaming Dota is never over until the throne explodes. Just the way it will always be.
The good news for the Dire side is that Alchemist BKB is down to 6 seconds.
Yeah, so they will be able to take him down a little bit quicker if they can keep alive and keep their important people alive long enough to do that kind of damage. We will see, I guess that's an illusion getting hit with a mana leak. That Coddle Blast is just absolutely aggravating as the enemy team just does absolutely so much work on your creep wave. One of the reasons why he's one of the most picked heroes right now. Tidehunter sacrificing an illusion just to scout out the Radiant team. And the whole Dire team are sitting up on this high ground over here, so if they can get the jump, get a good Tide Ravage off, as well as a good macro pyre off. There is a lot of damage there. And I think there's a pipe on the... Is there a pipe on the Radiant? Yes, there is. It's on the Dark Seer. So I guess that would prevent some of the damage from a Ravage, but possibly not enough. Here it comes. They're going to go ahead and try to come in here. Ice Path is going to whiff. Here comes a big vacuum wall going the other way. I haven't seen a Ravage yet. There it is. It's going to pop, hit almost everybody. Leshrac is doing some damage. Jakiro will get the first kill against Keeper of the Light, and Undying will pick off the Leshrac, but Alchemist is still alive, and he's just beating on all of your heroes. BKB completely saves him from the Ravage as well as the Macropyre. Dazzle finishes off the Jakiro, and now Necrolite looks to be the next to fall. Double kill on the Dazzle as well as the Alchemist, and there it goes. Team wipe, godlike triple kill on your Alchemist, and I mean, your Rax is going to fall.
Yeah.
There's the GG call.
So, holy crud, Alchemist. His gold per minute went from 150 to 500 over the course of 20 minutes. So, I don't really know. I don't want to calculate the increase in rate there. Not willing to do that much math right now. But, I mean, it's pretty insane, the ability he had to come back right there. Yeah, it completely blew me out of the water.
It really was Dar's game to lose, and those overcommitments early on just completely turned the game around against them.
Yeah, they played the tri-lane masterfully, completely won it. They had... Alchemist was 0 and 7, but I mean... I don't know. I don't really know how to say. I do like Dazzle as a hero. He's such a strong... He's very capable of doing a lot of damage very quickly and keeping people alive for a long time, which ended up working out so that the Radiant were able to win a couple team fights and get back in the swing of things and get their Alchemist farmed as heck. So, I mean, there you go. I guess that's just the way it works. I would have never predicted it.
Juans prevail.
I never would have predicted it happening from the beginning, though.
Definitely not, but I mean, that's Dota, right? If you don't give up and you keep playing, good things might happen.
Yeah, so for any of the pubbers who watch, if your Alchemist is ever 0 and 7, don't give up. Lesson learned, right?
Exactly, especially if the other team does not have any other hard carry that can match up to your Alchemist.
Yeah.
Just keep on soldiering and fighting.
Alright, so thanks for watching, guys. This was, like I said, this is from the efluxgaming.com's Dota 2 Arena. You can go check that out at that website. With me today was PN, pretty cool guy. So
Thanks
hopefully he'll be back to cast a couple more games with us. You enjoyed it, right?
Very much. Thank you.
Alright, awesome, guys. So subscribe, follow, do all that fun stuff so that we can keep producing Dota 2 content, and hang in there, keep playing Dota. GG's, guys.